understood. Okay, therefore hypnotherapy is no longer considered as therapy in scientific world.
Okay, so basically what I gather from you, doctor, is that you don't really recommend hypnotherapy.
I do not.
You do.
I think we've set the record straight on that. But getting back to the phobia discussion, is it common in children? Because some of the kids, and I remember myself as a kid once upon a time, I used to be afraid of the dark, especially going to the washroom maybe in the night. I wanted an adult to accompany. Is that common, or what are the common phobias based on age as well? One knows.
But I was a little girl when you were small.
In fact, in children, the simple phobias are common. When they grow up with the repeated exposure in the life situation, they overcome these problems. And when it comes to young adult, the social phobia is commoner. But when they grow older, the other category I called agoraphobia, you can see. Those are the things that in different ages.
So you overcome those barriers based on age, is it, as you grow up?
Some cases. In some cases, but other cases even social. When it is severe, they need treatment.
I see.
Okay.
So in terms of treatment, doctor, now say for example, I mean, phobias is something which I come across as individuals. I come across that it's a bit common. A lot of people have it. Are there any home remedies and stuff that they could do from by themselves to?
They have to understand. They have to get the proper instruction and go for the treatment. That's very easy. And the main important thing is that the subject must have the motivation to get well.
I see.
Motivation means that he should think that I should get rid of this my problem.
So in most of the occasions, the patient is unaware that it can be cured, and he will be in a position where he will say, you know what, better to avoid it, I'm not really going to go for it.
Yeah.
How can he himself believe that he can be cured?
In fact, that is the duty of the other family members to understand that, and that is of course the problem of the mental health literacy all over the world is lower than the other medical conditions. In Sri Lanka and other Asian countries, mental health literacy is very low. They think most of the mental illnesses are caused by various other external causes, like spirits and some preta like that, or hunyang, things like that. But it is not correct. The correct etiology for mental illnesses remains within the brain.
I see.
Okay.
So also, doctor, if so, what you're saying is also, I mean, you did say something like if people are having these problems, that they need to seek treatment.
Yes.
So the first thing they need to understand is that they need treatment.
Yes.
So what are the options available?
Treatment, what I said is mental health literacy, that they need to understand this is a mental illness, that they need to understand this illness need treatment, and this treatment is available. That's the question that you are asking.
Yeah.
That treatment is available in almost all general hospitals in Sri Lanka.
Okay.
A psychiatrist is available in every district.
So the first step is to pick up the phone and dial or channel a psychiatrist.
Its channeling has different meaning, but the psychiatrists are available in government hospitals.
Yeah, okay.
District hospitals.
I see, because also here in Sri Lanka, they think that, you know, going to a psychologist or psychiatrist is something that they'll frown upon.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
very important
It's
issue.
a cultural problem here.
That's a very important issue. Psychiatric illnesses has its own stigma. You consider it's disgraceful to have a psychiatric illness, therefore they do not want to expose themselves. Therefore, they go for other remedies which is not helpful at all. And patients do not do not seek psychiatric treatment, and therefore illness deteriorate over the period. That is one of the main disaster because of this stigma attached to mental illnesses. In fact, they consider going to a psychiatrist itself is a disaster.
I see.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming to the studios on Good Morning Sri Lanka. We learned a lot.
We did.
As well as we did in the previous segment as well.
We've been learning a lot about phobia.
It's all about education today, man.
Definitely.
I think, yeah, throughout the next segment as well, we'll be talking on education, and that's what we are good at.
But
So-
then, this time not really about phobia,
Yes,
though.
of
A different
course.
kind of education. So stay tuned and you'll see that coming up.
Of course, do not forget to give us a like on our Facebook page as well. It's www.facebook.com/goodmorningsri Lanka. We'll be back.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the show on a Friday morning. You're watching Good Morning Sri Lanka, and of course if you were tuned in during the last few segments, you would have noticed we were talking about different kinds of phobia, and I do hope that you guys found it quite educational as we did. But talking about education, now if you're a parent who has kids who are just after their O-levels or your A-levels, one of the things you're actually going to be worried about is what next. And of course it's not a question that you are going to ask as well, it's your kids are going to ask the question as well. So in the studio right now we have Miss Deepamala Abesekara, who is the Managing Director of Aspirations Education Private Limited, and also Mr. Ajit Abesekara, who is the Chairman of Aspirations Education Private Limited, and they have an interesting exhibition lined up over the weekend, which is geared to help you figure out what to do next. So without further ado, I'm just going to say hi to our guests. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you very much for being with us in the studio this morning. How are you guys doing?
Well, fine.
All right.
Eagerly for tomorrow.
All right, Mr. Ajit Abesekara, can you just tell us a little bit about the Aspirations Education Private Limited and what it's all about?
Well, we started about 7 years back, really 9 years back, in 2005. And this particular exhibition has been there from 2007, this is the 7th consecutive year. Our main function is to guide students who are intending to go abroad for higher studies in search of greener pastures, of course, for their career development. So it's a range of starting from O-levels and A-levels into diplomas to degrees, maybe masters, postgraduate diplomas, and then even up to PhDs. So we work with about 100 odd institutions scattered over about 9 countries, and in this particular exhibition we have institutional representatives from UK, Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia and Singapore, all coming under one roof. So our main aim is to guide the students, especially as you come out of school. You may not be very clear on exactly where you want to go, what you want to be. You are not very sure exactly what you are good at. Some are very focused students who know exactly what they want to be, but there are others who are floating around a little bit. So when they come to us along with the parents and just talk about the possible options, we basically guide them based on their educational qualifications, their preferences, and then also the financial background, which is I suppose the most important at the end of the day. And then based on those three, we try to find out the best way possible, the most cost effective as well as qualitative. So that's where we come in, and we are quite caring and we want to do our best possible, because at Aspirations service is number one. We are there to, like a father, I am more than happy to guide the student, right? And that type of care is what is necessary, and we are more than happy to do that, and that's what we have been doing, and sending over 1,000 students.
Well, actually, listening to that, Mr. Ajit Abesekara, when you take the name Aspirations itself, it says a lot. It inspires people. It's all about inspiration. How did you come about that?
Well, that sounds very nice, because one of our taglines is the fountain of inspiration to realize your aspirations.
Okay,
right?
wow.
And then we also call ourselves the caring partner in overseas education. We are caring partner in overseas education. So aspirations, as you know, we all have aspirations, young or old, and most of the time it's fulfilled through education, and that's how we coined the two names. And as you know, aspiration starts with A, so therefore the name of the institution also sort of goes up. And then also A is for Asia, America, Africa and Australia, and E is for Europe. So that's the logo that we have, AE. So that basically covers the whole world. So there's a lot of meaning in the name as well as the logo, and that also gives us the opportunity to look at the whole of Sri Lanka as a market, which we have still not expanded to really. We want to go a little bit beyond into the other parts of the country. Right now we are in Colombo, and that's in Navala, as well as in Kandy. But to serve more and more people, students, then we need to spread out a little bit more, which we hope to do somewhere next year. So then also we also get the opportunity of serving all segments of society. It's normally the ones who want to go abroad are the more richer ones and also the more affluent ones, but of course the middle class and even the lower middle class parents work very hard, to get their children abroad, to give them a better education and all that. And in that process we also see that there is another segment of people, the less privileged, so-called children, who also are struggling just to go from their village home to the village school, leave alone even coming into a district level school. So that's where our other side of the story starts, where we formed the Aspirations Education Foundation in the year 2007, and we started giving small scholarships or bursaries to the less privileged children who are capable in studying but who are constrained because of the financial end.
Talking about this,
it seems like there's a lot of thought been going into it.
Of course, about the scholarship programs that you all have done so far, how many have you done, and what are the
right now, within the first 2 years we started off with about 100 odd scholarships, and then we covered from year 6 to year 13, and then we expanded it from year 2 to year 13, and right now about 500 students are benefiting monthly in about 20 districts and over 30 schools, and we hope to go into all districts of the country. And that way we can help the less privileged by, say, diverting some part of the funds that we earn. And mind you, we don't charge any money from the students who are going to us abroad. Whether they go through us or they go direct, they pay the same thing. We are there to give a free service. We guide them through the visa process, we guide them through the finding the correct institution and do all the other application and other work. And at the end of the day, when they go abroad, of course, then we are remunerated by the university for a certain amount of money, and that is our income, of which part goes to the foundation to look after the less privileged people. So we are sort of recycling the money from one segment of society to the other segment, so that as a whole we are happy to look at all people. I mean, it's a universal right education, so how can we support as many people as possible?
Okay, Deepamala, you are the managing director of the organization. Your thoughts about it, and how did this come up? I mean, you were there from the initial, the start of the organization. How did that?
What do you mean, the foundation?
Yes.
Yeah, so I believe like Aspirations Education, from the outset we have positioned ourselves